Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois WorkNet. We are going to be starting our technical assistance webinar today. We do have something exciting that we're going to talk about next week, but today it's going to be just reports. So we'll come back to the roll call so that I can get whoever is coming onto the call late. But today we want to talk about getting to the performance reports. And there are going to be some updates to this moving forward, but right now I just want to show you the overall how to use them, how to access them, and what you need to be watching on there. So on that, you want to be logged into your Illinois WorkNet account and go to the drop-down arrow where it says My Dashboard. And then with the My Dashboard, you click on the Customer Support Center. From there, we see the little icon at the top that looks like a bar graph. We want to click on that. It's called for the reports. And it's taken a moment to think. There we go. All right, so then we want to see the CYEP reporting. And for short, this is called the PPR, but it is the Periodic Performance Report. And I am in real data. It hasn't popped up yet. We're still waiting. There we go. Okay, in here, we have enrollment information, assessment information, career plan, and worksite placement. And all of these are based on one or the other of a program year. So either program year 2018 or program year 2019. These items, the actual items themselves may potentially be changing the way they're tracking, but the information and the data around the report will not be changing. And I'm getting some feedback, so I'm going to mute somebody that I saw some noise coming out of. Or else you guys can all mute yourselves for right now until you have a question. Okay, so on here, you can filter your information for your reports. You can also export it, and it will export to an Excel spreadsheet. On here, we have proposed versus actual enrollment, and if you click on the I, it will open up and tell you what that actually means. So this line, the blue line, is the header bar for this. It says this goal is based on the proposed number of enrolled youth for reporting fiscal year, cumulative count. Then you have to click the I again to get it to go away. I'm going to talk to our programmer to see if we can't just click anywhere on the screen to get it to close, because I think that would be easier for everyone. The other piece that we need to know about where all of these things are is the instructions. So on here, under each section where it's counting the actual goal and what's acceptable and where you are, is one of the yellow or red rows, or green if you're actually done. So if we go back to program year 2018 and filter, we could potentially see some green rows. But that is when they were done and they finished on track. as a total organization because I did not select a provider here. You will only be able to see the providers for which you have access. So that would be whoever from the list that I end up picking, but I don't want to single anybody out right now. So we're going to just filter on the grand total. And then in the instructions, if you click on the instructions, it tells you what the criteria is defined as, what you need to do to fix those pieces, and then any instructions that are associated with making that happen. So we have what and how for you very easily right there. So if your numbers aren't matching, you can go in, look at the instructions, and see what you need to fix to make it better. Then we have our goal is verified, eligible, and enrolled. So then you might see, okay, well, I've got verified, eligible, but not enrolled. So maybe some of those people need to have been enrolled. So it breaks down each of the items underneath so that you can go back in and take a look to see who or what you might need to fix. And that happens all the way down the page. So if you're looking at verified, eligible, and enrolled, and you're thinking, okay, well, I should have 30 people, but I only have 22, but you've got verified, eligible, and 8 of those people are on the waiting list, then you can go check to see if maybe you just forgot to change their status in some form or fashion. Additionally, at the top, you have assessments. So we're going to let this guy think here a little bit. And I know they say patience is a virtue, but sometimes I wonder. Yeah, you didn't miss anything, Tamika. Goodness gracious. Well, you know what? I'm going to try and come back to this here and see if that makes a difference. Now, we're going to go try back to go to the assessments. Okay, this is a very interesting webinar, isn't it? All right. What I'm going to just tell you here is each of the pieces down here is based on enrollment, assessments. Okay, that's not good. Career plan or worksite placement. And the same, excuse me, the same piece applies where we have information bubbles, we have instructions. If you click on a number, it gives you the list of all of the customers. So if you click on this 464, it would give you a list of all of those customers that are listed in that number. So you can verify, okay, my person is in the right list here. And then you can go back to their profile if they are not, if they're showing up in this verified not eligible, you can click on the 5 and you see the 5 people that are in that list. So I am not quite sure why things aren't working right now. But I'm going to be on the call with my programmer as soon as we're done with our webinar today. So does anybody have questions for me while I am waiting for these pieces to pop up about performance? Oh, look, we got something to pop up. So right now, overall, for the entire organization that's working on CYEP, we are subsidized and converted to unsubsidized. That means those youth that you put in a subsidized position and they made it off of that to regular pay from the employer. 80% is an acceptable goal. And right now we only have 8 out of 2,200 youth that have been placed. So that means that A, you haven't placed people, or B, your customers' profiles are not up to date in Illinois WorkNet. So you need to check those items to make sure. And then we also have initial job placement for 3 months or more. So these are your performance measures: 3 months or more, 6 months or more, 9 months or more, and the 270 days, which is the 9 months period. So you need to make sure that you're updating those customers' case files. And I can show you in test if anybody has issue with this, but we did cover that last webinar, I believe. We talked about how to update those employment statuses. And remember, from the 3 month on, you check with your customers every month and add a case note about that. And that way you'll know whether or not they're still tracking to be on track by the end of that 9 months. Okay, so now we're going to go back to, oops, I am working on some public pages for you guys so that you can share it with employers and youth to help with some advertising. We hope to have this all ready to go by July 1. So back to your dashboards. If you have any questions about the dashboards, since I am recording this, I'm not going to go down to the individual level, but as you can see here, we have quite a few people that have not completed their application within 5 days. We have not verified applications, 814 of them community-wide, so like all of the agencies. And there's 20 of them here. So go to your dashboard and check your numbers so that you can see whether or not you have numbers in these yellow and red rows. And starting in a couple of webinars, we are going to start calling this out on the webinars. So please make sure that your numbers are up to date. Okay, does anybody have questions about the performance report and how to find the information that you need on there? Either open up your mic or type into the chat pod. Okay, so I have the list of everybody here. Who do I not have marked as being in attendance today? I've got ABCC. Is anybody here from African American Christian Foundation? I see Fana Lee Brown. I don't know what organization. Okay, Boys and Girls Club of Chicago or Freeport family? Chicago, thank you. Okay. And then do we have anybody, Centers for New Horizon, Angel of God, Aunt Martha's, Freeport Boys and Girls Club, Center for New Horizons, Chicago Area Project, CAPS, Community Unit School District 112. Homework Hangout, anybody? Leadership Development, Leslie Bates, Phalanx, Project Oz, Public Image Partnership, Puerto Rican Cultural Center. Oh, I got to spell that right. St. Sabina, UCAN, Universal Family Connection, or Westside Health Authority. All right. Next week, we are going to be talking about user management. This is a new tool that is coming out. I will have a recording ready for this to go for the partner guide. And then after that, you guys will be able to add new users for your organization. Not necessarily students, but new employees. So we'll be talking about that next week. So try to make sure that you're on the webinar for next week. All right. Any other questions today? All right. If not, I will talk to everybody next Tuesday. Have a great rest of your day.